and welcome back to my channel. So it is time to do my June plan with me, and once again I'm actually going to try something a little bit different. So I really liked the setup in May. I don't know how you guys felt about it, but I really enjoyed doing something a little bit different for May, and so I thought, okay, what is something else that I could do that I normally wouldn't do with a plan with me that might be interesting for you guys to watch? So what I thought I would do this time is I'm gonna do my little May recap in front of the camera like this, and then I'm actually going to do a full plan with me, no time lapse, over at my table. And so I have not done any pre-planning for June whatsoever. Like, I don't have a quote, I don't have my color scheme, I don't have anything. So I'm gonna walk you through everything that I actually do for a plan with me so you can see realistically how long it takes me. Now, keep in mind, because I'm filming, it is going to take me a little bit longer than it would if I were just doing it, you know, didn't have to walk you guys through this kind of stuff, but it'll be a pretty good indication of how much time I actually spend thinking about these kind of things. So let's dive right in. I'm gonna try and keep the intro a little bit shorter so that we can, you know, we're gonna make up that time in the non-time-lapsed plan with me portion. So I have my bullet journal and my PROJO in front of me just to kind of remind me of things that happened this month. I am, for reference, filming, it is May 21st, so this is actually going to be going up this Sunday, so I try really hard to not film my plan with me's more than like a week before I'm actually gonna post them so that you guys can see as much in my bullet journal as possible, and in my PROJO, obviously. I honestly, let's see, so May, and I'll show you guys when I move over to the top-down camera, I'll show you guys the spreads and all of that. But May was my little introvert quote. I actually have really been enjoying the colors this month, and the Pentel sign pen that I used was that super thin one, and I'm actually thinking I might use it again for June because it is such a pleasure to write with. Like, it is so great. So this month has been a little weird. We have started our, like, what we call the deconfinement period. So we started on May 11th, where we are now allowed to go out for walks. We have to wear our masks, but we're allowed to go out for walks without having our permission slip, which means we're allowed to go out for more than an hour a day kind of thing. I'm still trying to stay at home most of the time, but I have been going out for more walks now that I can kind of do it without worrying that I'm gonna forget my permission slip and that kind of stuff. And I can tell it's been helping to get more physical activity in my day. Like, that definitely has been a good thing. I also had a weird situation where I take allergy medication and I ran out, and I didn't realize that I was going to run out. Like, I always have a huge backup bottle, and I just didn't realize that I didn't have one. So I went about a month without having any allergy meds, which I don't have anything like super bad. I don't get like hives or whatever, but my problem is I have constant low-level allergies, and if they get really bad, it actually affects my ears, which, you know, not great. But I just could tell for that month that I didn't have the meds, like, my head was just so fuzzy. So I think that really has affected how well I was sleeping. It affected like all of that. So I feel like May was just a weird month for a couple of different reasons, like above and beyond everything else that's going on. So not as productive overall as I would have liked. My intentions, I'm gonna show you guys, like, my intentions have not been going super well. I've barely worked on my font. I had actually made some changes for what I wanted to do for my language stuff, and have really only been keeping up with the Talk to Me in Korean lessons. Like, it's been kind of just an off month overall. My tracker's been going okay. I've actually been reading a little bit more. I think that once I kind of realized how fuzzy I was feeling from the lack of allergy meds, I kind of tried to figure out different ways to sort of recenter, and I've been getting back into reading again. So I actually have read 2.5 books so far this month, and I'm actually about 50 pages away from finishing the book I've been reading in French, which has been weirdly addictive. Like, I've been really enjoying reading it. So I'm hoping the next book I'm gonna read before bed is not going to be quite so interesting. Like, I hate saying it that way, but like, because I read before I go to bed, I really don't want something that's gonna suck me in. I want something that I'm okay with reading a couple of pages and going to sleep. Whereas with this book I've been reading, it's been like, okay, it's been half an hour, it's been 45 minutes, I need to go to bed now kind of thing, and like, that is not a good situation. But I have been really enjoying the book, so that's cool. In terms of like my weeklies and dailies and all of that kind of stuff, it's been an off month. I mean, I have definitely had weeks where I have had stuff from Monday of the previous week, and I'm on like Wednesday of the following week, and I'm still like filling out and like completing tasks that I've just left open because I'm still on the same spread, and so I didn't migrate them. Like it's been kind of a weird time. So hopefully things will be better, I guess, in June. You know, I still have a week and a half left in May, so I'm still hoping to kind of pick things back up. I finally got my allergy medication, so I've been on that for 2 days, and I can already tell like I'm sleeping better and I'm feeling less fuzzy. So I'm hoping that's really gonna also help. That, you know, part of this lack of productivity was just brain fog. So now that that's going to kind of clear up, I'm hoping that that is going to go a little bit better. So in terms of my PROJO, I actually did finally fill out my Q2 spreads, which I will show you when we go to the top down because you're not going to be able to see it from here. But I actually did fill it out, and I was really happy with how it turned out because I ended up going back through Claire's, so Minimal Plan, she's the creator of the PROJO. I ended up going back through her Instagram feed because I remembered seeing her post how she had filled out those spreads, and it's new to this particular, like to version 2 of the PROJO. And I was so stumped with how to actually fill it out. Like I just couldn't figure out how I wanted to do it. So I went back and I looked at what she had done, and it was great. It helped me so much. It really, like, my entire layout is inspired exactly by what she did in hers, and I feel like it really helped me kind of focus my energy and focus like what I wanted to do for the next really month and a half because of when I actually filled it out, but for this quarter, if you know what I mean. Oh, I also have another video coming next week that is in line with PROJO stuff, so keep an eye out for that. I'm actually super excited. I'm gonna be filming it after I film my plan with me, so I'm really excited about that. So that is kind of like the general overview of how May went. What I'm gonna do is we're gonna move over to my table. I will do a quick flip through of just those spreads in my 2 notebooks, and then we are gonna get to planning June. Okay, so let's take a quick look at May. So I figure I'll go ahead and show you my bullet journal first because that is kind of the easiest thing. So if you guys remember, this was my intro page for this past month. And then this is my monthly so far, and as you can see, I honestly have not gotten a ton done. I've done 3 out of my 4 Talk to Me in Korean lessons, which is actually like exactly what I had planned because I basically do 1 per week. So I just did my 1 for this week, and so I have 1 more to do next week, and then we're good to go. But I had also planned to try and watch some more television in foreign languages, and like has not happened. Font, I set up a font BUJO, which actually was really helpful, but I haven't really done very much else. Exercise, I need to go back through and fill this in. I've actually been doing a little bit better now that we're starting our deconfinement and I can actually go for walks a little bit more again. And sewing, I have done some sewing, which that's good, but like honestly, the language and the font, which are the 2 sort of main things, I just haven't been doing very well on this month. So here is my tracker. As you can see, I actually kept track up here the days that I didn't have my allergy medications. It was basically like 2.5 weeks, but I had a week prior and possibly a second week that I was doing it every other day. So like that, when I go back and I'm like, what happened this month? I'll know. So yeah, that otherwise, you know, it's kind of going as is. I did actually fill in my review to kind of explain my notation here so that in the future I would remember, because I didn't want to forget to do that at the end of the month. But I'm getting closer. You know, I think I'm going to finish, this is the book I'm reading in French. I think I'm going to finish that soon. And then this is actually an audiobook. I have to wait until it comes back around on hold. And I've started reading Threads of Life, which is all about like the history of like sewing. And it's so interesting. Anyway, but I think I'll get my 4 books this month, hopefully. Then I've got my dailies. So this is with that really fine Pentel sign pen, and I love how it actually looks. So I think I'm actually going to use it again this month. This looks super messy. I did both the pink and the yellow, like with the drop shadow and, you know, whatever. But yeah, there are things that I've definitely gotten a lot done, but I was also really kind of modest in my expectations for the week. So a lot of these are like kind of little things that I just wanted to make sure I got done, so they went on here. But yeah, so I don't know. I feel like it looks like I did more than I feel like I did, but anyway. So that, and so one thing you might notice is this month I did Italian. So all my weekly or all my daily headers are in Italian. Then I did Spanish, then I did German, And then this week I just got lazy and I just did English again. So I think what I'm gonna end up having to do is, it's Thursday now, so I still need to fit the end of this week, and I'm like not convinced that I can fit 1 week on here. So I think what I'm gonna end up doing is adding one more spread, and I'll probably just have a collection over here at some point, and then we'll start in June. So let's take a look in the PROJO, because this actually has some good stuff. So I finally filled out this. I'm so happy. So what I did is I went back through, I pulled out my Q1 and I got all of my 2020. So I had my big 2020 like mind map. I had my Q1 mind map. And then I basically just went through both of those and decided like what, is there anything that I can take off that I'm really just not going to get to? Is there anything that I finished that I, no longer have to migrate over? What are the things I want to focus on for the next 3 months? But what I actually ended up doing as well is I kind of simplified things. So what Claire did on hers is she did lifetime 2020 and the next 3 months. And so I did that too. I actually have 2 for 2020 because I didn't like, my spacing was such that I couldn't easily like keep drawing lines. So I just did a second one. So it's 2020 and 2020 continued. So I basically went through kind of my big general goals. And there's some stuff on here that was not on my 2020 mind map because it's longer than just for this year. And then this 2020 stuff is very directly based on my 2020 mind map, but like semi-updated for things that I haven't yet done. So anything that I actually finished, I just didn't move over here because what was the point? And then I kind of focused on what my next 3 months were. And as I was going through this, I did the 3 months last, and that was how I kind of decided what I wanted to focus on, because the difference, so we're going to just flip here really quick. The difference with your action plan now is previously the goals roadmap, which is kind of what this used to be called, had room for 5 projects. And now it's got 3 projects that you work on over 3 months. And so since I was doing this, and of course I am an idiot and completely forgot to write the date that I did this. So I think I did this end of April, beginning of May, something like that. And so I basically was like, okay, I have a month and a half-ish left. What do I think I'm gonna be able to get done? So I decided to focus on font budget and 2020, 2021 work planning, so for school stuff. And then I broke it down over here, so first font, budget, and work. So goal 1, goal 2, goal 3, and then I kind of broke it down with here. So I have been working on some stuff. I don't think anything is at the point that it's truly finished. I did do a bunch of brainstorming, so this is probably closer to being done than anything else. But I found this really helpful, and I think this is gonna be a really good approach to do for Q3. Now, again, I don't really feel the need every quarter. If I've already done something like this, I don't feel the need every quarter to like completely redo that. So I will definitely have to think about how I want to present, how I want to do this section in Q3, because if I've already gone through and I've done all of this stuff, there's really no point in rewriting it. So it's gonna look a little different, but because this was the first time, I wanted to go through and do that kind of the way that Claire showed on her Instagram, and I did find that actually very helpful. Then I've got my action plan. As you can see, I did this, I had already kind of started filling this out in April, and I had done, oh, you know what? So I actually did this at the end of April, I think. And so I had done this budget thing, so I put that in there so I could cross it off, but I hadn't done anything with work. And so I set everything to start in May. So that was why this section is a little bit less filled out than everything else. And you can see I had started filling some stuff out here that I had to white out, and I actually had 2 things up here that I ended up whiting out and changing because I started filling this out without having a real idea of how I wanted to, and so I had to go back and change it. So yeah, finally did that. So this, you guys have seen April and all of that. So here is May so far. Now this is where May has been super weird. It is the 21st, and as you can see, I have not filled out anything for the last 6 days, which this is where I track everything that I've worked on, and I've done some stuff. I just haven't written it down. So I need to go back through and fill that in. Obviously, definitely need to work on that. I just haven't gotten there yet. Then I've got my Move It May, and you guys can see here, this was basically the 11th is when we started our deconfinement, and you can see that my normal jumping jacks and squat thing that I've been doing for exercise dropped off drastically because I was going for more walks, and I prefer going for walks, so I was actually pretty happy about that. So I think what that's gonna mean is that I won't do one of these spreads for June. I think I'm just gonna go back to my normal walking and all of that and not track it, because normally I don't really care to track my my exercise as long as I can usually feel like if it's going okay. It was just because I was at home so much, I wanted to have a very physical reminder like, hey, you need to do some movement. So once again, not going to do my monthly review yet because I still have about a week and a half left, and then this will be for June, and then May. So this was the first week in May, and then this was 2 weeks ago. Like pretty okay. This week was actually pretty decent. Then this was last week, and as you can see, my bookmark is still on here because I haven't actually filled out all of this stuff. Need to do that. And same, this week, I think I just wrote these in yesterday, potentially, like Wednesday. Yeah, not great. So definitely kind of not doing so hot in keeping up with all of my planning. I do eventually go back and fill it in. It's just not as much of like a daily process just because my daily schedules are so like wackadoo at this point. So, you know, it is what it is. I do want to show you guys this. I actually, let's see, where is it? So I actually went through and I already have a like running list of ideas for Q3. Basically, when I sat down to do my Q2 planning, I started thinking about stuff that I was like, oh, I'm definitely not going to get to this in Q2. Ooh, I'm going to like plop that on a list for Q3. So I actually have already done this. So hopefully that means that my Q3 plan with me will be a little bit better. So that is like what's going on. Now it's time to take a look at June. So what I've got is I pulled out my Tombow markers. It's gonna be really like weird and awkwardly close, but I have all my Tombow markers, obviously, minus the ones that I currently have out for like color code stuff and all of that. I also have my collection bullet journal. So this is where I keep my reading trackers and all of that. But in the back, I have this Tombow color chart, and this actually really helps me when I'm looking to choose colors, because I can do kind of my initial look on here, and then I'll test it on a piece of paper, like with the 2 or 3 colors that I want to do together, and just make sure that they actually look okay together. But this at least can help me get in like get the range of color that I'm looking for. So I've got that out. Oops. So I think I do want to do, so these, oops. Here. These are my colors for this month, so they are gonna live in this pouch until the end of the month. The rest of these colors are all my like color code colors and all of that, anything for trackers. So I do want this pen for this month, and I think, do we want anything else? Actually, we might pull out this gray pen for doing headers and stuff. I think that might be useful. And then back here, I just have a couple of other little lettering pens, like constantly just have Pentel sign pens everywhere. So I think those are the only 2 that I want from in here. So I was looking back through, and this is honestly how I decide on the color for the next month, because I don't plan ahead. I went back through, I was like, okay, what haven't I done? So I usually will look at my monthly page, because that's a pretty good representation of the colors that I chose. So I had the gray and black, I had purple and blue, but like kind of pastel-y. I had the like mustard and sage. I had my pastel watermelon with like psychedelic pink, and then I had my green, pink, and yellow. So I was thinking I haven't done a blue since February, so I think that's going to be my base color. So, and actually I should have gotten a scrap piece of paper. I will be right back. Okay, so I got a piece of scrap paper because I'm also probably going to need this for my quote. So when I look at this, I say, okay, first off, I want to do blue. So what kind of blue do I want to do? I think I want to do something kind of bright, because like June, but I don't know if I want it to be like this pale necessarily. Actually, I haven't done this color. This, actually maybe doing like a teal and blue. That might be kind of fun. Like this. Let's try that. Hold on. So 476, switch 476 and 373. I love having this because also I can just like immediately pull it out. And a lot of times what I do is I'll be like, oh my gosh, they like to come out of their little case, is I'll like count over and count back. And so I can just kind of like count rather than like trying to randomly choose the right color that I'm looking for. So let's take a peek at how we feel about this. And then I also like to just kind of make sure. So I'm doing this one. I've got this. And I actually pulled out this Statler because I've had these Statlers for so long, and I'm like, I need to use them actually. And I was thinking it might be kind of cool to see if I could do that, because I always need a little accent one. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know, man. I'm not sure. So I pulled that out, but I don't think I'm necessarily going to use it. But I'm actually really happy with this color, and I think I want a third one just to like do, I like to have that kind of rotation out. I think one more might be nice. It's weird. I feel like it's been a really long time since I've done all in like one color family. I usually have a weird like contrasting color that I throw in just for funsies. So maybe we want to do that. What I'm thinking is, so now that I've got these two, I can kind of see. So we're gonna fold off that mauve because I don't know that we're gonna use that necessarily. Actually, I could throw in a mauve and then we could use it. What I was thinking is like, this like really sort of violent purple might be kind of fun to see if that would go. I think we're gonna try that because like, why not? So 685, so that one's back here, 685. So, whoops, let's see. Yeah, I think we're actually gonna do that, and I'm probably gonna use this one actually because it's much more muted, but it kind of goes. I'm gonna use this one to do like numbers and stuff on my monthly. So that actually was much more painless than I expected because so the only pre-planning I did last night is, and I think it was last night actually, was I decided that I wanted to do blue. Like that was my jumping off point. So that was actually pretty painless, all things considered. So I kind of like that. I think it's gonna be cool. So that is our colors. So that means I can move my Tombow chart. I can move my Tombows. Oh gosh, get them out of the way. So the next thing we need to do, and this is going to be interesting in terms of filming, is I need to pick a quote. So what I usually do, what I have been doing for a long time is I basically will just search the month and quotes. So like, January quotes, June quotes, etc. And I sometimes will do seasonal quotes. So, summer quotes, spring quotes, that kind of thing. And then every once in a while, so what I did last month, for example, is I ended up searching introvert quotes. And I think I kind of want to do something like that again because I don't know, I'm just getting a little bit bored with the monthly quotes because I always end up using Goodreads, and after, 2 or 3 years, like I'm kind of running out of quotes that I really like, and this is why sometimes I end up reusing the same quotes because I just like them so much and there isn't something like better or different that I want to use. So what do I want to do for June? I think something like, why don't we check out what community quotes look like? And not Community the TV show, which we could do, but community as in like community, like a group of people. So I always look for like whatever I have, I always end up looking for the Goodreads link. And then because I have the app, it pops me over into the app, which I actually find nice to look at. So one of the things that, okay, so this is like, guys, this is a much easier month than they sometimes are. So what I do is I start going through, and I always just start at the top because like, why not? Basically, I look for quotes that are not super long because I'm gonna letter them, and especially because I'm doing Tombows, if I wanna do accent words, I need it to not be super long, otherwise I'm gonna run out of room. I want it to be something that resonates with me. I tend to like something that's got a little bit of like kind of tongue-in-cheek humor. I tend to not go for super, super serious quotes, but I want something that is humorous that also has meaning. So like those are kind of my mental criteria that I go through as I'm looking at quotes. So for example, something like this, like I alone cannot change the world, but I can cast a stone across the waters to create many ripples by Mother Teresa. Like that is a fantastic quote and something that I could potentially use, except that it's a little bit more serious than I kind of want. I also will sometimes go for more like kind of poetic-y quotes. So the one that actually immediately jumped out to me was this one. Pull up a chair, take a taste, come join us. Life is so endlessly delicious. Like this has kind of all of the elements that I like. It's kind of like taken just like this. It's a slightly, not absurd, but like kind of weird, if you will. It means something. This one is not specifically humorous, but like it still kind of fits what I'm looking for. So that honestly might be the one, but let's take a look. Like all of these I won't even read because they're way too long. They might be fabulous quotes. They probably are fabulous quotes, but they're just way too long. Sometimes if there's one that like it catches my eye, even if I know it's too long, what I'll do is I'll just take a couple of lines, but a lot of times with these long quotes, I really like all of it and I don't want to letter that much, and so I just kind of skip it. Let's see. And I'm passing through, like I'm passing by a ton of quotes that are fantastic. This is just kind of the way, you know, I have to find a way to sort of narrow it down somehow, because literally you saw there's like 1,099 quotes that we could look at. So gotta figure it out somehow. So no, all right, so often this happens. I have to end up loading more. Let's see. I honestly think that like the third quote on the list, I think that might be the one. And a lot of times I'll do that. It'll be like in the first 5, and I will kind of decide that that's the one, but I'll keep looking just in case. Just in case I see, yeah, no, we like that quote. So let's go back up. So we're gonna do this one. So it's by Ruth Reichel. I'm not saying her name right. So what I then do, and this is what I usually end up doing if I do like a pre-planning somewhere, is I'm gonna take a look at how do I want to split it out. So it's not super long. Because there are very short sentences, I think that's actually going to dictate how I actually split out the quote. So I think what I'm gonna end up doing is essentially dump everything that's a sentence on its own line, except for the last one. I'm gonna break it into 2. Okay, and then I always do Ruth Reichel. So I do that. So what I'm gonna do, so I'm gonna end up splitting them out like this, and I will include the periods. I have this weird thing where I like certain types of punctuation, and so this is something that I will definitely include when I do the quote. So I think what I'm gonna end up doing is, as I'm lettering it, I feel like this is going to get accented. And I think I might do a little something different for all of the verbs, because there's like imperative, you know what I mean? Like I think that's gonna be something, because the end, I don't necessarily like us is not a thing that I want to do. I would end up doing join. And so I think I kind of like this idea of doing this beginning of each sentence is kind of a different thing. And then the end of the quote, which has its own line, is going to be something else. Now this I'm going to have to be really careful, because endlessly delicious are both longer words. And in a Tombow, that is going to be a problem. So that might actually be one that I end up doing in Pentel Sign Pen. Just, you know, minor considerations. So I think that is what we're gonna go with. So I can put my phone away. And now we need to take a look in my bullet journal. And I very honestly, like sometimes on here, I will do my PROJO first because it's super easy. Sometimes I'll do this. Because we just were talking about the quote, I wanna go ahead and do the quote while I'm thinking about it. So we'll do the PROJO after. So I already mentioned, because like I'll be able to fit Friday on here, but then I'll have to get the weekend. I don't think I'm gonna fit all of next week on this page. I'm gonna end up giving this page to May, and then we're gonna start June over here. So this first page is going to be for my quote, and I haven't done any of my normal like tick marks or anything like that. So instead of doing that, I'm just gonna go ahead and do each spread in order, because I think it's gonna be the easiest thing to do. So I've got my little paper over here to the side, just so that I know, and this is, I like to write the quote down on here too, because I can initially get a feel for how long it really is just by, you know, sketching it out really quick, but also then I don't have to have my phone, and I just have this piece of paper when I'm actually working on the lettering. So what I've got is, whoops, I keep all of my pens for the month over here. So I'm not gonna use these 2 for my quote, but I think I might work on, and I might not use all 4 of them, but I'm gonna pull from these 4 to do my quote. So I think what I wanna do, as I mentioned, is I wanna have this Pentel Sign Pen. I'm gonna use that for the very last line. So I guess I should probably have this over here so you can see. There we go. So I'm gonna use this for the absolute last line. And I think what I wanna do is I want to, you know what? So I think I wanna do this like super vibrant purple for that initial one. And I think we're gonna do, how do I want to do this? Because I kind of actually want to do, like, I kind of want to just go crazy and use all the colors. So I think what I want to do is, actually, I think we're gonna do all the little words in the darker blue, and I think I'm actually going to, I might not change how I write it, but I think I'm gonna change the color for these 3 words. And I think I might do a drop shadow or something with the teal on the Endlessly Delicious, just so it stays kind of the same. So that's I think gonna be our plan. And once I finish, then I'll decide how I'm gonna do the author. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 5 lines that I wanna do. And I have to be careful. I think I'll probably do brush lettering for the purple, and then everything else I'm just gonna use the bullet point, because otherwise it's gonna be too big. So I think I'm gonna have to start like all the way up here. So like pull up a chair, take a taste, come join us. Life is so endless. Okay, so I think I could actually start like here. Well, yeah, wait, so pull up a chair, take a taste, come join us. Life is so endlessly delicious. Yeah, I think that's what we're gonna do. Okay, so here, let's see how this is gonna work. And I've got my little paper for under my hand. As you can see, I've literally been using this for so long, but as long as all the ink is dry, it doesn't matter. So, ooh, and I think because these are like punchy action verbs, I think we're gonna just do like a print situation. Let's see. Yeah. So the way I do this is a proportion that I use a lot, where I do 3 boxes tall for all of my capital letters and for anything that's got an ascender, so like a T, an L, an H, F, any of those. And then anything that is a lowercase, the main body of it is gonna be 2 boxes. And then if I have any descenders, they're gonna be either 1 or 2, depending, probably 1 in this case. So it gives it this proportion that I kind of like. So that is how I do those. So pull up and I think what I'm actually gonna do is, yeah, I think I know what I'm gonna do. Okay, this is gonna look weird, and you know what? We don't care, we're gonna play with it. So, no, I wanna do this first. Here. Okay, yeah, I wanted to see how this bouncy lettering would look to decide how big I want to do this part. So I just have to fit in, pull up, and I think I'm actually going to do it pretty small. Okay, so, and I'm actually going to do taste first. Okay, so I think we can start over here. There. So I have to be careful. This is gonna be, oh, and I have to do my periods. Yeah, we're gonna do that. Don't worry. I love how I'm like talking to myself. It's fine. I do this constantly. We're gonna do this. Yeah, that actually works. And if you ever wonder, well, you probably don't wonder because you see me do this every month, but why some lines are not quite as centered as others, it's because this is exactly how I do my lettering. Even if I do the time lapse, this is literally how I talk through it. So like when I come back at the end, I'm like, yeah, that didn't fully go exactly the way I wanted. This is why. Oh, this is gonna be weird. But you know what, we're gonna do it. We're gonna keep it, yeah, we're gonna do it, it's fine. This next line, this come join us, because I don't want to accent the us. It's going to be like weirdly balanced, but we're just gonna run with it. So I think this is going to be, because the join is going to be bigger, I think I'm actually going to do it over here like this, and we're gonna see how it goes. So, and I do try. So sorry about the pen squeaks. Also, I don't know how loud those are going to be. No! Bad Caitlin. I'm not doing. What I need is, ooh, actually I have other whiteout, hold on. So I almost always use this kind of whiteout because it's just less messy. And this is gonna be super obvious because this is, oh, that was a lot. Sorry guys, hold on. Let me just tear off a little piece here. There, it did nothing, that's cool. Let's actually try it. So, there. So I went a little bit low here, and I don't want this here. There. Normally this is the kind of thing that I would fix like off camera a week later, but you know, we're gonna do it now. I regret everything. I totally messed that up, didn't I? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. All right, JK, we're gonna do it this way. Ha, we're actually gonna completely screw this up. We're gonna accent the us because we can, and it's gonna make it more even. So this is why I letter as a hobby, because I actually never plan things out the way that I probably should. So there's that. Okay, so this, the is so is actually really small. So we're gonna do it, actually we're gonna do it up here because like, yeah, no, we're not. And this isn't even an action verb, but I don't care. I want to keep the look. Whoops, there. And we're actually gonna do, oh no, I have a loose like bit on this bullet tip, and so it was leaving like a second line. So we're gonna make these the same proportions as everything else so that they kind of match a little bit better. And then we're gonna do our endlessly delicious, and we're gonna have to do it really small, like all the way to the end. So also my hands are shaking. Just one of those fun days. So all of my lines are super not smooth. It's good. It's good. We love this. Yep, that was a little far. All right, there we go. So that is not fully centered, but with this, you can see I was so close that like, it was either started over one and potentially run out of space, or started over here and potentially not be totally even, which is fine. I'm not actually gonna do a drop shadow because I think it's too small, but I am going to do some like little accents because. Here. There we go. Kind of weird. I like it. Okay, so now we need to do our attribution. How do I want to do that? I actually want to do the teal because I really just like the teal a lot. So we're just gonna do there we go. So that is our little quote. And actually the amount of space it took up is roughly what I had expected. It's never as like perfectly centered as it could be because I just don't do that. So we don't need that anymore. That's gonna go in the bin. So now, let's see, June. How do we want to do June? I think what I want to do is I'm going to focus on these two, but I'm like fully just way more into this teal color than the blue color, so we're going to do teal as June. Let's see. Let's do... They're nice and squiggly. I love having shaky hands when I letter. There. And then we're gonna do my standard. I don't know how this became my standard. I'm sure it was probably something that I saw from like Boho Berry or someone do, but I love doing my O's like that for the year. I just think it looks kind of fun. And then what are we gonna do? Actually, that centered pretty well. I'm not mad about that. So I feel like I do actually want to use the purple for something. Ooh, I know what we're gonna do. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just do a little droppy drop. Just for the J. Yeah, we're gonna just do that. Cool. So that is our, and I love how I didn't even check that this was dry. I think it is, good. So that is our little intro page. There we go. So now we need to do over here. So I'm gonna use, let's see, I'm gonna use the dark blue. So I tend to pick the darkest color to do my monthly, and pro tip, this is not a pro tip, but you know what, like whatever. So I know that May was 31 days, and so June is 30 days. So I basically, I'm just gonna do like so, and I know that that is 30 days because I'm like one higher. And then I'm gonna just do my line. There we go. And then I need to do 2 in. Sometimes I try and do it all in one fell swoop. Today I'm not doing it because my hands are so shaky that I feel like I'm just gonna screw it up, so that's cool. So let's see, May started on, or no, May ended, ooh, yes, this is a perfect week. So that means, and actually we're gonna use these two because we can. So I'm gonna do the days of the week in the mauve and then the days themselves in that. So, and actually we're gonna do, starts on a Monday. So do that. Whoops, but I like to go ahead and just do my numbers first. So I'm not sure if you guys know, it's something that I used to put in the description box and then I just kind of stopped because I didn't think it would be super interesting, but I usually, whoops, as I almost skipped 13, I usually speed up the time lapse 4 times. So whatever I'm doing takes 4 times longer. So typically my time lapse, the raw footage is usually like 20 to 25 minutes long, which gives me between a 4 and 5 minute time lapse. So just so you guys know. Oh gosh, this is why I like doing the time lapse for the numbers, because low-key, afraid I'm gonna skip one. Okay, good. So there's our numbers, and then I have to go through and do my little letters. And like, you can see with how fast I do it, this is actually pretty true to how fast I normally write because I do them pretty small, and so I really just don't worry about them not being messy. Like they're gonna be messy because I just don't have the patience. This is one of the reasons why I stopped doing the year at a glance, because I just like do not have the patience to neatly write all of those little numbers. Like that is just not the thing that's most important for me, and so I kind of rush through it. I have to go slow enough obviously so I don't accidentally skip one, which watch me as I'm talking skip one here. I really hope I didn't. We're gonna find out later. So then after I do this part, oh actually, so I do split my lower section down here with the same color I did for like this outline here. And then I'm gonna go ahead and do teal for my weeks. So once I have this in, then it's really easy. I do a Monday start. And so I just go through, and a lot of times I do the paper under my hand because then I can just slide and it makes it go faster. And also slightly smoother. So just do my little separations. over there. Then I haven't used the purple, so that is gonna be, so this is for July. There. And then we're gonna just do June. Cool. I actually think we're gonna do these two. How do we wanna do this? Yeah, I think we're gonna do this, because like, this could be fun. So, why do I feel like you're not the same? No, I think you're good. I'm checking, I thought I missed one, but I think I'm okay. You guys will tell me. So. Oh, I didn't do this right. You know when you can like tell immediately that it is not centered? Yeah, I do that a lot. Like a lot. This is so not centered. If ever I go back and I add the little tail here, like 90% of the time it is to balance out, and I just made that really, really bad, guys. There we go. I also get comments semi-frequently that I never actually cross the second T. I am aware of that. I just like doing one big swoop, and like I know it's a T, and so I don't actually care that it crosses over because my proportions are so like squat that I just like, it would get into the rest of the letter. So I am fully aware it is crossed as far as I'm concerned, but I am aware that it doesn't actually like cross the second T bar. I do know. So I'm gonna go ahead and fill in. So we've got font. We're gonna do exercise again, even though I'm like changing things up with that. We're just gonna go ahead and do exercise. I might change that at some point, but I don't have anything else I wanna do yet, so I'm gonna keep doing that because it's a good thing. I need to work on that habit. We're gonna move this. So here, we are gonna do language again. No. Haha. So you guys have seen me do this a million times, and you are probably well aware of the fact that these mistakes are happening because I'm talking and writing at the same time, so I apologize about that. I'm also, as you might have gathered, not a perfectionist. Will absolutely not tear out this page. I will just do a little bit of whiteout and we're good to go. There we go. All right, I do have to let that dry for a second. So what I'm gonna do, the reason I kind of did it this way is I wanna use this mauve as this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and write, I like to have at least like 2 goals per month. So I'm just gonna go ahead and write in the squares over here. And I'm gonna fill them in later because I'm not sure yet what I wanna do, but this is what it's gonna kind of look like color-wise. So I'll go ahead and fill in, you know, whatever my goals end up being. So, so whatever my little goals end up being here, I will go ahead and fill that in there. And I definitely, like I had just the one here, but I think I want to rethink that. I definitely wanna go back to my walks as one, and actually that one I can do right now. I think I wanna do a walk 5 times a week. And then I want to do something else, something to do with like flexibility or something like that. So I'm gonna leave that second one until I kind of figure out what I want to do. So, all right, are you dry? Yeah, I think so. Okay, so that is our monthly. So now we have to do our tracker. Now, the tracker. Whoops, we need this page. So because I am absolutely a fan of simplifying, I do this. Like even when I do my little tick marks, this is literally how I do it, guys. Like what you guys see is very kind of true to form. So I just go ahead, I'm not changing anything. I really like how this tracker is going. So I know I've got 2 here. I know I've got, so I always double check because 2, 4, 6. So I've got 2 little boxes here. So 6 boxes, 2, 4, 6. Then this jumps up and that is my general. So what I can go ahead and do is, I know these lines go all the way. So I use the same color for my main outline and for my separations between week, morning, and afternoon, and my separations then also between my little title thingy, whatever you want to call that. There. Okay. Oh, that got a little wavy. There we go. And then we get this one and this one. And I'm always, it pretty much always is 15, but I like to count and double check. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15. So I need 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30. This is my end there. So that just means that I can go ahead and do, whoops, do that. And then I just follow the exact same lines, continue those, there, okay. Yeah, this is a little bit messier than normal. I swear I normally draw better lines, but you know, it is what it is. So then I go back through and I do my numbers again. So 4, 5. So I'm doing the same color configuration that I do for my monthly. I just kind of like having that continuity. Also, it means that I don't have to think. What I decided to do on my monthly is what I'm gonna do over here. So it's, you know, one less decision. So there, and then I know that the month starts on a Monday, so we're gonna do this. So Friday, okay. And I'm pretty sure it ends on a Tuesday, so I always just like to kind of confirm that I end on the day that I ended on with my monthly, which means usually that I haven't skipped one, so that's always good. So then I need to do my weekly dividers. I do like to have that, and I'm just gonna do the teal because that feels, I try to like mix up sometimes the, you know, whatever the base color is that I do, so that the spreads, they all have the same colors, but they look a little bit different visually. I just kind of like that. So then we're gonna do, so evening, morning, week. Then I need this. So hold on a second. So I know this is meds, journal, skincare, sumline. So my sumline's a day. Then it's, did I watch any TV? Dishes, floss, and skincare. Then I always have to check on this. So got sheets, sponge, towels, clean, exercise, project, and then sew or knit. I'm probably gonna have to update that at some point because I don't really knit, like almost ever. Let's see, what color do I wanna do? I think I wanna do teal for reading. There. I'm actually, a lot of times I'll change the color, but I really like this teal, so I'm just gonna leave it. Okay, then I think we're gonna go ahead and do the review in blue. There. And I'm gonna do track in blue. Because I'm gonna do my legend in teal over here, but I'm gonna do it in the mauve. And this is one that I always end up flipping because I don't ever remember everything, so. There, so I do walk, stretch, then I've got Korean, Italian, German, ooh, I took that off. So font, then dust, vacuum. I just don't write it all out because I don't care that much. And bath and shower, then change, wash. So, and again, as you can see, I don't even worry about writing it super, super neatly. I just need a legend. And as long as it is mostly legible, I'm not super fussed. So that is my tracker. I think we're good. I don't think I've missed anything. So that is in my bullet journal. So now we need to go over to my PROJO. Oops, move this. So I am gonna just use my regular pen because my PROJO I keep pretty low key. So let's see, month of, so June 2020. And I honestly have gotten to the point where aside from my dailies, I do not write out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I do MTWTFSS, and I know the order, so it doesn't really bother me. If I were to write a standalone letter, I would definitely add more letters because, you know, between Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday and Sunday, it's kind of confusing, but on here, it just makes sense to not do that. So we know that this month starts on a Monday, so I can go ahead and just write in my little numbers up here. I love when they start on a Monday. That makes me so happy. So this takes longer because they're farther apart. I definitely get to the end of doing my monthly plan with me and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I don't have to write numbers for another month because it does get kind of tedious. But this is the fastest way to do it in like my kind of experience. You know, I've got stamps that I could do stamped numbers or there's stickers or whatever, but like honestly just writing it quickly with a pen is kind of the fastest way to go, I think. So what I usually do, just because I don't use these, and I am gonna check because I try to keep it consistent. So I do, because if you can see here, I cross off the bottom. So I'm actually gonna go ahead and do that. And I literally don't even use a ruler because you guys know how I feel about rulers. I do use them sometimes, but it is fairly rare, all things considered. There we go. So just so I kind of can really visually see where my month is, I just do it like that. And because I haven't actually finished May yet, I'm not gonna go ahead and move anything over here because I don't yet know what this is gonna look like. I also am not gonna set up the Move It June because, as I mentioned earlier, I just think I don't need it anymore since we are allowed to go out for walks more. I think I'm gonna focus on getting back into that since that is already my normal mode of like exercise, if you will. So I'm just not gonna go ahead and do this. I think this might end up being like a work tracker or something like you know, planning for next year or something. So I'm gonna leave that blank for now. Then I've got this. So I actually did at some point, I went through and I did set up through the end of May. I don't, did I do June? No, I think I only did the first, wait a minute, you guys, yay, past Caitlin was on it. I knew I was gonna stop working on this, so I went ahead. So I actually have already set up through the end of June, and I did set up the first week in July because I've got the first 2 days or the last 2 days in June over here. So I did go ahead and do this because sometimes I'll start planning for that week before I'm ready to set up in my next in my Q3 P book. So I just wanted to like have that done. So I don't even have to set up my weeklies because all of that is done, and it's really simple because now, so let's see, this is the first week in June. So basically what I did is I just filled in, you know, the date, the day of the week, and then up here I've got the date, the week in the calendar, and the week for school. So it's week 23, but for my school it's week 32B. And then I've also got in brown any kind of set dates that I know about. Oh, I actually forgot one. So hold on a second. Let's do, oh, nope. So I've got my brown pen. So this is when I do my Patreon live. And normally I actually do I just fill in my color code for that straight off the bat. These don't get filled in because they're just like a 2-second thing to do, but this is actually an hour long like appointment. So I have actually already set up, I haven't done my appointments in here yet, but I have actually set up everything else. And a lot of this I've kind of left just because we still don't know what June is gonna look like for work and like going back to school or not. So I'm gonna just kind of leave that. So yeah, that is actually in my PROJO. So let's jump back over to the other view and have a little final chat. So that is my June plan with me. Let me know in the comments down below if you like that setup, if you like seeing everything with like the explanation and not done in a time lapse and like more of a chatty version. It's something that, you know, maybe I'll do it some months and maybe I'll go back to doing a time lapse some of the other months, but I thought it would be kind of fun to try because I always end up talking about when I go through and I do the explanation after, I kind of talk about how I choose things and all of that, but I thought it might be interesting for you guys to actually see sort of as I'm working through how I plan my monthly. And, you know, minus the slightly wavier lines and the mess ups because I was talking to you guys as I was trying to write, it is pretty true to how I do plan my monthlies. I'm curious to see because as I'm filming, I kind of lose track of time. So I'm curious to see how long this video actually ends up being, to see how long it really does take me to do my setup. But, you know, it was nice that past Caitlin had already done my weeklies for all of June, so I actually don't even have to mess with that. I just have to do my kind of general setup and decide what tasks I'm gonna focus on. So that is my setup, and you know, there's a reason that my time lapses never end up being super long. So as I mentioned, I do speed them up 4 times because I feel like with 2 times, it doesn't seem like it's really that fast, but 4 times, and it takes a quarter of the time it actually takes me to set up, and I already don't have a super long setup. So anyway, let me know what you guys thought of this particular video, and I will see you guys in my next one.
Hey guys,
Bye.
so if you've made it all the way to the end of this video and are actually watching my end screen and you're not subscribed to my channel, I would really appreciate it if you would. There's a little button right there for you to do it. And if you're interested in watching some more of my videos, I have links to 2 of my older videos off to the left there, so you can check those out if you would like to, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!